Welcome back to Danny Rants. I'm here on the sunny Gold Coast, and when I'm in the sunny Gold Coast, there's only one man that I want to talk to, and it's Mr. Joey Lamatina, nightlife madman, ex-nightclub owner, and all-around good guy. Mr. Joey, how are you today?
Good, mate. Yourself?
So good. Good to see you.
You too.
Finally. We've been trying to do this for probably about, I reckon, close on 2 years now.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
The moons have aligned, and we are sitting here right now ready to get into it.
Now.
So let's start from the start, right? So obviously, hospitality background. For people who don't know, you own Platinum, and Platinum was arguably one of the biggest fucking nightclubs in Gold Coast. But on top of that, you've been involved in the politics of this area, and you've seen it come, go, and everything in between. Realistically, in this space and this city, how did you start working in nightclubs?
Geez, that's a long time ago. Let's get back to when I was about 17 years old. I actually was working in the cross for Johnny Abrahams. I was picking up glasses in the nightclub, The Tunnel in King's Cross, and started all there. And from there, I ended up at Juliana's in the Hilton in Sydney. And I actually met one of the Hilton sons, not Conrad, the other one. I've forgotten his name, but he turned around and he said to me, look, you run a really good ship here. Unfortunately, we've got a real big ship on the Gold Coast that's completely fucked. He goes, we've spent all that money and nobody wants to go there. So we spoke about it for a little bit. He goes to me, would you consider moving? And I went, yeah, possibly. And then I probably said one of the biggest, most embarrassing things that I've ever said to anybody in my whole entire life. I said to him, look, I'll give you an answer, but I need to speak to my mum first. And I was fucking embarrassed after. I thought to myself, I can't fucking believe I just said that. Like these two guys, they're laughing in there. Food and beverage manager and him. He was like, yeah, okay, well, after you've asked mummy if it's okay to move up to the Gold Coast. So I rang up my mum, she goes, no, typical fucking wog, just going, no, you're not going anywhere. My father's going, yeah, kick him out, get him out of here. I don't have to support him anymore. I ended up at a nightclub called Fortunes in the casino. That's pretty much started my career up here on the Gold Coast. And then from there, we all got a redundancy package. They thought it'd make more money if they filled it up full of machines and tables. And with the redundancy package, I picked up this old shithole in Surfers Paradise called The Mansion. That's what started it for me then. After that, putting on the big brand names, getting to, still meet everybody that was cool as the owners of One Love, the guys from Sydney. They had, Scotty and that, they had Kink and all them. We're having all these nights at the venue and, yeah.
Was this at Mansion they were doing that?
Mate, I started doing that at Mansion. I did my very first Ministry of Sound at Mansion in Surfers Paradise.
So where was Mansion exactly?
Mate, it was on Beach Road. The actual club used to be called Beach Road. Fuck, mate, this place was such a dump, right? And there was no way we were going to spend any more money on it because, it was bound to be knocked down sooner or later. It's in prime real estate, so we didn't spend any money on it. We painted it with whatever paint we can get from the secondhand store, and all the furniture we ended up getting from St. Vinny's. And
what other clubs were around during this period of time when you had Mansion?
Mate, back in those days, there was the Shooters was around, Cocktails and Dreams, that's still around. What else? The Drink had just opened up as well. That was a really decent venue. That was owned by the Crosses. That was a really cool club, that one there.
Was it one called Billy's Bungalow or something like that?
Billy's Beach House.
Billy's Beach House.
I used to put on Sunday afternoons there. So Sunday afternoons we would go there, charge people $5 to get in and completely cram the place to the fact that we thought that we were going to possibly get locked up for the amount of people we used to squeeze in there. Then it got really crazy. We had to border up. We had to empty the pool out because people were just jumping in the pool.
Someone died there too, didn't they?
Yes,
a BMX rider, yeah.
Yeah, someone jumped off and missed.
Yeah, I think the security guard grabbed him by the back of the heel or something like that.
Yeah, he ended up he missed the pool.
Was that the reason why it closed down?
No, there was other reasons why it closed down. I think the reasons were behind that was more political. That's the most valued piece of land in Surfers Paradise. That's smack bang in the middle of, the beach. Eventually, when this new high-rise that's going to go there, they're going to go for millions.
It's insane to me that ever existed. Going back to Billy's Beach House when I was a kid, and it was this massive area around a pool, where you could literally jump off the balcony into the pool. I know you weren't supposed to, but you could. The idea that ever existed with people drinking is fucking insane. Obviously, the outcome was always going to be people jumping in the pool.
Mate, one day that we did there in particular, it was a New Year's Day, and probably the first time I ever swallowed a Valium because I was so nervous, right? So we ended up getting Vanilla Ice to come there to headline it. No one thought that we were going to put that many people in that place. We specifically posted that, it was sold out. Doesn't matter. People just came. The whole street was a fucking mess. It was just horrible. It was like, you had liquor licensing going, mate, we have to shut it. We have to shut it. We have to shut it. I'm going, you shut this, you're going to have nothing but problems with these people. I said, we will manage it. We'll manage it properly. And thank God nothing did happen that day.
Coming from Sydney, right? So you come into Gold Coast, you're a bright-eyed young lad. How old were you at the time?
18.
Oh, you were 18 when you moved to Goldie?
I was 18, yeah.
Wow. So you landed in Goldie, and right, and down in Melbourne. I don't know if you know we call this place that, but in Melbourne we call Gold Coast Cowboy Country because it's got its own rules, right? There's all these people coming in from all over the world, and effectively, there's still to this day, there's politicians at times getting paid under the table, getting caught for it, where it doesn't really happen anywhere else. Like this is sort of, sometimes it feels like the 80s, but in the future, in a sense, like the way things work here, and it's a different world. And you can change the outcome of your nightclub on the day, right? So when you first land here, how the fuck did you navigate through all that stuff coming from Sydney, where no doubt they had normal kind of restrictions and rules, where you just get landed smack bang in the city where there's no such thing as a local?
Well, I came up here, I knew nobody. I only knew the food and beverage manager. I knew the actual hotel manager. After coming here, I just absolutely knew nobody. And it's funny because my actual real name on my birth certificate is Giuseppe. And as much as it wasn't popular then, it's actually fucking popular now. Like everybody just go, well, you need to go revert back to your old name. I've gone, nah, it's going to stay the way it is. And the way that came about was that when they went to actually make my name badge, my name badge there that said Giuseppe, or whatever it was going to be, Fortune's nightclub manager, it wouldn't fit in the name tag. So, and it even wouldn't fit in my, it wouldn't even fit in my fucking timesheet. So they go, we've got a problem here with your name. So there's no way we can actually put your full name, Giuseppe Lamatina, on this name tag and on your timesheet. You're known as Joey from now on. I've gone, okay, no worries. And it's been stuck with me since.
That's hilarious. It's such an Aussie, colloquial fucking experience, right?
Yeah.
It's like all the DJs back in the day, they all had look at guys like Adam Bartis and Dean Paps. That's not their real names. All the guys down at Melbourne had these long ass. Yeah, exactly.
like Rafi.
But you had to even Nick Foley is another one too. Everybody had to get their name shortened because it was too hard to pronounce apparently.
Well, not only that, it wouldn't fit on my name tag, right? So they weren't going to give me a massive big long name tag and then for people to go, what's your name?
Yeah, true.
Then, so that's how I got stuck with that. But I knew nobody. So what I did on my nights off is I just went. So we were in Broadbeach. The hotel, the nightclub above the casino was in Broadbeach. So it was not open during the week because nobody would go there. I would venture out of a night time, and I'd go to all the other nightclubs and surfers, and I would just introduce myself to people, and from there I became pretty okay.
Getting to know everybody on the street.
I hustled.
You talked about when you bought Mansion, you were working with the guys from One Love down in Melbourne, like Rafi, et cetera, then Scott and stuff from Kink / One Love eventually in Sydney. How did you even meet those guys? Worlds apart, obviously different states. Sometimes back then we didn't have the internet and stuff, so it was a lot harder to talk to one another or network interstate. How did you do that?
Mate, those guys would come up a fair bit and just walk around and check everybody out, and they'd come and introduce themselves. They'd say to themselves, we've got, the night in Sydney, Kink, and then we've got the guys, we've got the night in Melbourne, they're at the Prince. Do you want to do, a night here, a night there? We take the door, you take the bar. I went, fair enough. These are big brands in Sydney, It's unfortunately that rivalry then became what it did. And so I had to say goodbye to them. What ended up happening after that was that the fact that there's a funny story about what happened at the Mansion. So I ended up buying Darude, and Darude was red hot with Sandstorm, and we sold that out, right, in literally 3 minutes. 3 fucking minutes we sold that out just because of one song, right? We crammed that many people into that nightclub that the upstairs, the roof had bent. The actual floor had bent down like that. It had actually snapped the bearers or the whatever they're called, the RSJs, whatever it is. And I'm in the DJ box and I'm looking at that and the roof's moving up and down when people are dancing and I've seen the big crack in the big pillar. I've gone, let this guy finish this fucking set and we're out of here. Let's just close it. We turned around, we spoke to a structural engineer and he goes, mate, we can't fix this. This is fucked. And unless you're going to get the money off the landlord for him to fix it for you, you're up for big bucks. So from there was a nightclub down in Broadbeach called Coco's and he renovated it really nicely, but he just couldn't get people there. He'd rehashed it from another brand called Coco's before. So he turned around, he asked me, and he goes to me, well, what are you going to do now? And I've gone, I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I said, we're going to rename this place. We're going to turn it into a dance club and come up with a name. I don't know, came up with the name Platinum, and then it's got stuck there. It was just going to be Platinum Saturdays. That's all it was going to be, right? Then we ended up branding the whole nightclub called Platinum, and the rest is history. I can tell you some fucking stories that happened in there, mate, I tell you.
And we're going to get to every single one of them. But going back to Mansion, have you got any crazy stories from those days other than Darude almost caving in the floor?
One specific night, the place caught on fire.
You're kidding.
The place did catch on fire. We had no air conditioning in there, so we used to create and make our own fans in there. So what we were doing, right, we were putting these massive big holes in the wall, huge round holes, right, and putting those old industrial fans from outside, and then putting like an old 44-gallon drum as the actual barrel to create the wind to go outside. It rained, and some of those things started short-circuiting outside, and then it's caught on fire, and the fucking club caught on fire, and just like next thing you know, we're just running around with fire extinguishers trying to get it out, having to do a please explain to liquor licensing and the cops and the fire department, you know, over the space of a week. That didn't go down too well, but it was funny. One of the coppers turned around and he goes, well, at least you use your initiative, he said.
It's true. They always talk about when
well, it was an old house. There was no air conditioning in there. It's not like you go, you know, get an air conditioner now and just throw it in. One of these air conditioners that you have in your house now, that's not going to put up with, 600 people sweating in there.
Nah, and I don't think people understand that either. Like, you need like a full industrial aircon to not even cool it down, just make it bearable. Like, and back in the day, again, going back 10 years, it was a luxury if a club had an aircon. Most didn't. And it was like kind of, I don't know, I think it kind of made it more special sometimes. Like they got pretty hot in there. What did Gold Coast look like back then when you were there? Like compared to like now, what was Gold Coast like back before you started Platinum in the Mansion days? Like what were the kind of people who would come into the venue, and just in general, like how busy was it?
Mate, people would come up here from Sydney and Melbourne just for the weekend, right? They'd come straight to our venue. It was that type of people. It was not everybody's cup of tea, but I started booking guys like Corsi. Corsi would come up there and just play his normal big room house set. Back in those days, it's not the big room that I'm talking about, like the Platinum days. It was completely sound.
The old school classic stuff, yeah.
He would come there and he would just absolutely just smash that place to pieces, right? People would like be just clapping and cheering and, more. Of course, he was one of the best guys in the industry.
100%.
He's like, can I keep going? I've gone, of course, keep going. I shouldn't actually say this, but it's funny. Like me and him would end up at the casino after the end of the night, and he'd blow his whole fucking wage.
I feel like he's not the first DJ to do that, not last.
The whole lot.
Yeah.
The whole lot.
Crazy.
He'd go, fucking, what'd I come up here for? Come up to see me.
Yeah.
But
have a drink.
Yeah.
So
and we'd get cooked. We'd get wasted. We'd drink so much Sambuca. Back in those days, the flavour of the month was obviously Sambuca. Then we evolved. Come Platinum.
Into better stuff.
Conversation for another time.
So the punters in Mansion, were they predominantly kind of mixed of Melbourne, Sydney tourists, or was it also Gold Coast people? Because another thing with Gold Coast is up until you sort of started Platinum, there was always this thing that people would say, they don't really have a clubbing culture per se. And when Platinum started and like elsewhere and other clubs like potentially Mansion, clubbing culture sort of started. But do you think it was predominantly just Melbourne and Sydney people or people from all over Australia, or was it locals too?
Mate, I was one of the first people that had the balls to mix gays with straights. Right? I thought, how's this going to work? You got these gay clubs that are just pumping, one in particular, and obviously we were in that time, where it's a little bit, not like it is now. Should I use the word acceptable?
Yeah,
right?
acceptable is the word, right?
It's acceptable now.
Yeah.
Right? Then it sort of wasn't. I mean, you'd see a few people walk out with bloody noses and everything like that, especially when the good old straight guy would get a little bit paranoid because the old gay guy would be next to him or whatever. I didn't condone any of that violence. I didn't like it. If anyone did anything like that, they're fucking barred. That's it. You're never coming back again, right? No matter what. You need to get along, and that was it. And the gays were getting along with the straights in the clubs, and the same with the girls as well. And we created sort of that culture. Because the club had no aircon and no exhaust, right? I said, fuck it. Everyone can take their shirts off. I don't care. I don't care if you're a fat cunt. Sorry.
You're right.
I don't care if you're a fat cunt or a lot of the gays were ripped, right? They were dancers, some of them. You know what I mean? They'd come out of, cabaret shows and like that. They'd come in there. They'd take their shirt off and as we say, they'd rock out with their cock out and everything. It was like fucking having the best time, these people, right? And the straights just sort of went, you know what, these guys aren't too bad at all. I mean, we missed that whole heightened part of the whole AIDS epidemic shit. I mean, that was like 70s, 80s, right? It became very acceptable in the 90s. And that's when, you know, obviously the mansion was around. And I sort of think that I created some sort of culture there. And you know what? I've got a lot of gay friends and I don't mind them.
I think it's Australia-wide though. Like you could talk back about One Love too. Like you obviously had a lot to do with those early days we were talking about, but that's the same as how they were kind of built. And like it's a common theme through everything that I do. Majority of the clubs who are the legacy clubs that go on to be iconic have a gay undertow because they party fucking hard. That's the thing. And on top of that, they're good vibes. You know, like when you're in a big room, they like good music, they like good fashion. They sort of like kind of in a way, especially in the 90s and 2000s, a lot of like the straight crowds copied them. Yeah, like so they were kind of going there, figuring out what their subculture was, what they were doing, and then we were replicating it, arguably worse than them. You know, like so. And I think that was a clubbing across Australia.
I met this girl, this chick came up, like she came into the club and introduced herself. Her name was Kat, and she goes, my name's Kat and I work at the Dome in Melbourne. And I'd never heard of it. I made some inquiries. She goes, look, do you mind if I came and do a couple of sets with you here? I won't charge you heaps, but only when I'm up here on holidays with my girlfriend. Oh, mate, this fucking girl smashed it. Don't know if you know her or not, but she was like full on.
What's her last name?
I don't remember.
Yeah, there's a couple of famous
DJ Cat.
Yeah, DJ Cat. Yeah, she's an iconic Melbourne. Yes, 100%.
But like, I remember
she did Dome, Viper. Like she did all the big clubs down in Melbourne. Yeah,
I remember her coming back. That was that time that I mixed the straights with the gays. And the venue. She came in there and just like absolutely fucking dismantled that joint. Just smashed it.
Yeah, wow, that's cool.
She became very regular as well. And then I ended up getting Harry from Brisbane to come. Harry ended up starting his own massive brand up in Brisbane, now Fluffy.
Yep.
Mate, that was another time when he would come in there on Sundays and just like absolutely destroy that place. So you know what? I took a punt with that. I thought to myself, you know what? It could either be bad or be good.
Ended up great.
And
so then you go on to start up Platinum, right? You go there and it becomes one of the biggest, most notable nightclubs in Gold Coast history. Can you run me through how that all begins and I guess the beginning of that journey through the whole period?
I must have had so many people say to me, you're going to do your balls here. No one's going to come to this place.
There's nothing more that people from nightclub world like to say that when someone starts something new, you're going to do your balls. I don't think anyone ever says you're going to kill it.
No. So you're going to do your balls here, right? The roof's too low. No one wants to go to an underground like basement nightclub. It's going to be too dark, blah, blah, blah. I heard it all, right? Anyway, so I thought to myself, fuck, how am I going to do this? So 1 month into the venue, I said, I have to start putting on some big acts here. So I ended up putting on Sneaky Sound System. And that there was at the time of their album, you know, Pictures, fucking whatever.
Yeah, the other big hits.
They were just fucking massive hits, right? So I took the punt, I paid the fee, but I remembered Connie and Angus from Surfers Paradise working with Billy. They used to work in the Berlin club and, mate, they were pulling some massive crowds. I thought to myself, how's this going to work in a semi-commercial environment? How's this going to work with them, right? There was another one of those acts that sold out, right, within 2 days. It just completely sold out. The club's packed to capacity. You can't move. It's my first big show there. We've had to put crash barriers in front of the DJ box because the fucking kids were going mental, right? And then it was just Angus was DJing, and then all I can remember is Connie, this breakout, because she's in the green room, right? She had a microphone. She's testing, test 1, 2, 1, and then I hear this. This could be big for me and you, and then fuck me, this fucking club just went into hysterics, right? 6 security guards. We had to leave the other security guards, right? All the other areas that they had to stop people from crashing that crash barrier and that DJ box. That's when the phenomenon became of that venue.
How early was that?
What's that?
Like how many weeks in was that, or how many months in was that?
That was about a month and a half in.
So the first 6 weeks were you sort of like, you know, scratching your head going, how am I going to get this to work?
How am I going to do this? How am I going to get this happen? Then after that, I'd had a meeting with Tim McGee down there at Ministry.
Yeah, Ministry.
And I said, mate, I want them all. I'll take them all. The annual Clubbers Guide. Then I started putting all them on. Second show after that was was Ministry of Sound, the annual with Corsi and Mark Dynamics. Holy fuck. Now that was a night that I won't forget in a long time. That one there. It took us pretty much 4 hours to get everybody inside the venue.
And what year gap was this?
What are we talking here?
I'm guessing 2004, maybe 5?
We're talking 2003, 4.
Yep.
2003, 2004. And then after that, every month, Ministry were pumping out an album a month. Clubbers Guide to Electro, Clubbers Guide to this, Clubbers Guide to that, fucking everything. You know, Frank and Raffy, they were up One Love 10, 15, you know. Who else? Kink did a few albums. So all those album launches we were doing then. And then came the festival after parties. They were the best. Summerfield Days, that was one of the fucking best with David Guetta as the after party. The Big Day Out after parties were really good. I liked working with those guys there.
What'd you do with them?
The official after parties.
But did they have artists or was it just the official after party?
Artists.
Yeah, fuck. What kind of artists were you working with?
Oh, who did we have? Fucking, I can't remember exactly. There was a lot. Who did Drop the Pressure?
Milo.
Milo, yeah, that one there. Fuck, that was fucking massive.
So was anyone doing that at Gold Coast at that time, having those sort of caliber of acts?
Nobody was doing it. Nobody had the balls to do it. I thought to myself, I'm either going to get rinsed here, right? But I just took a gamble, and you know what? The gamble worked.
It's an expensive process.
It's a very expensive progress because if it goes wrong, it goes very wrong.
And those sort of artists you're talking about, even back then, they're probably commending tens of thousands of dollars.
Heaps.
Yeah, and like you've got a bar, obviously, that you've only got 12 hours, or 6 hours or 8 hours to make that money in. It definitely would have been a massive gamble.
Well, it hurt us when we couldn't serve piss after 3.
So when did that happen? That was like, because I remember when we were running schools down here, it was probably 2006 or so.
Yeah.
It was 5 a.m. Everything was 5 a.m. So we used to walk out the clubs. It was still broad daylight. It was still broad daylight when we'd walk out. And then all of a sudden it changed to 3. So I wasn't really across when and how that happened.
Well, these geniuses here, they thought they'd fucking come up with this plan to make it all go from 3 to 5. It was, in the end, it did nothing, right? Because they're so dumb, because they knew that we could stay open as long as we wanted. We could have stayed open 24 hours as long as we weren't serving piss. But all that was doing was promoting drug use.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I can't sell any more beer. I can't sell any more scotch, bourbon, whatever it is, vodka, shots. What were the kids doing? They were going in the toilets and doing whatever they were doing. Well, I didn't condone that. I wasn't a fan of it. We weren't in the money we weren't in the business to allow that to happen. So we didn't allow it to happen. So next thing you know, we closed at 3.
And that would have shortened your hours, that extra 2 hours of trade. You know, it could be the difference between a successful night, a profitable night, or not.
Mate, there's a lot of money in 2 hours.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And what was the capacity of Platinum at the time?
900.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's decent cash left on the table.
Yeah, there was heaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. We then diversified a little bit. We started bringing the DJs on around about 11:30, 12, the main act. Where back in the day, we used to put them on 1:30. We'd want everybody to have a skinful before they were hitting the dance floor because that's how we would make our money.
100%. But
we cut it all back. We just thought, you know what do we do now? 11:30, main act.
And so like that's pretty early, like for some of these artists that you were having on, right? Some of these artists eventually went down to be pretty underground or pretty fucking fast and loud. So 11:30 is super early, but I guess that was just culturally what everyone was doing here.
The best thing about that, what happened with us in the dance venue, in the dance club, was when the place was building and building, and it was like chock-a-block at around about 1:30, 2 o'clock. When you're about to put your closer on, your last DJ for the hour, your 2 to 3, right? He was non-existent. He'd just sit back and go, the main guy would turn around, the main DJ goes, can we keep going? I go, fucking knock yourself out. I'm not paying you anymore.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Yeah.
And what, like at 3 o'clock sharp, you were shutting?
Had to close. It was heartbreaking.
That would have killed you with a full club.
It was fucking horrible.
That is the worst thing ever.
It was horrible. I think it turned me into a fucking massive alcoholic. Like it really did, because you know what? I just wanted to get smashed.
Yeah. What other clubs have been in Broadbeach before Platinum?
We had such a success with Platinum that we went into partnerships with another dude and we ended up opening Love next door. Now that was super ultra commercial, just Pitbull, Beyonce.
Okay. Yeah.
You know?
Top 40 sort of vibes.
Yeah, just as much as it was a beautiful club and I loved making the money out of it, I just fucking hated being in there. Honestly, it wasn't me. Like people would go and Platinum, where's Joey? He's next door, right? And I couldn't wait to get out of there, to go back in there and listen to that rumbling fucking sound system.
Yeah.
So that was a big sound system.
What kind of sound system do you have in there?
Mate, that was a massive sound system. It was the brand was Acoustics Technology. He was the guy's dead now, but the guy that it was sort of like semi-invented and put all the components together from China did a really good job. Mate, that became the sound system for the Gold Coast because everybody used this one guy until he passed away of cancer.
Yes, sad.
Yeah.
So when you first started Platinum, no doubt you would have took some heads away from Gold Coast Surfers Paradise, which is obviously the main area of Gold Coast at the time.
Yeah.
Were people happy with you?
Well, no. A lot of them decided to mimic what I was doing, trying to put on DJs, and some of the bigger name Australian DJs they tried to poach them. There was their managers and their agents. I say, you go there once, you don't come back. No one went. I had such a stranglehold on it here. It was just absolutely ridiculous a stranglehold I had on it. And it became that no DJ, no big name DJ, none of those guys wanted to go and play in any other venue but that one.
It was kind of crazy too because Surfers is now again the precinct, but it was prior to Platinum really. But now Broadbeach it's almost like a distant memory because there's no...
Well, it's a ghost town now.
Yeah, but people wouldn't even know that was a place that every single massive artist in Australia wanted to play. Like Broadbeach was the go-to place if you came up to Gold Coast. Was it again tourists or locals that were going there?
Well, the tourists would go up to Surfers and they go, I thought you guys had a healthy scene here. It's fucked. And then other staff members from some of those clubs ended up saying, you need to go to Broadie. You need to go to Broadbeach. There's a club down there, Platinum, you'll enjoy it. And if you don't like that one because maybe it's not your scene, there's one next door called Love. You've got a commercial one, then you've got an underground one. So
you were doing some stuff with the Staffords early days, who are obviously local legends, and you actually did a TV show where you were the manager, but I believe some of the stuff that was in that show was a little bit scripted. Is that true? Can't talk about it?
This water's good.
So what can you tell me about those early days working with those boys and that TV show?
Really good water. Look, it was good times. We had some really, really good times. We did do the TV show. We did go overseas. We created Timmy out of that. Timmy's the biggest thing in the world now.
Yep, literally from Australia probably. Or probably Dom, but followed by Timmy now. But.
I mean, we created Timmy out of that, the Staffords and myself. And I single-handedly created Brooke as well. It was good times. The boys did very well for themselves.
Because they were residents at Platinum, right? Yeah. And before that, they had cut their teeth at one of Rafi's venues, I believe. Had they? Is that true?
In Melbourne?
No, down in he had a venue in...
Oh, Baja down in...
That's the one, yeah.
Down in Byron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it was Burleigh.
He had one in Byron.
He had La La Land in Byron, and then he had
Land.
he had Baja in, I think it was Burleigh or around there. Coolangatta, that's the one.
Yeah.
So I think from what I can tell or would have been told is they started there and then they sort of got really big from in Platinum days.
Yeah, well, those two venues, they were very tiny. But they were the type of venues that if somebody actually grabbed me by the scruff of the neck now and said to me, I want to build another club with me, that would be the most perfect size now. The size club of about 200 people where you don't have to bust your ass to fill it, right? Okay, you can just do a couple of social media posts, you fill it with something like that.
And you do cool shit there too, that's the other part.
Very cool shit. You can get away with playing anything in those places. You know what I mean?
It's funny to say because I think the same thing. Like if I was going to go back into the space, I want 200-300, maximum 400, no more than that.
Like your Revolver in Melbourne, right? That would be my ultimate place to build up here.
Yeah, wow.
But with Revolver comes the late close. There's no late close here.
Yeah, of course.
We're sort of guessing that there's been talks with the state government here coming into the Olympics because we've got the Olympics that they might give us 24-hour trade.
Yeah, wow, really? Fuck, yeah. That's going to be unheard of if that happens.
Yeah, well, the thing is that some of these people that are going to come from overseas for the Olympics, they're not used to being told what to do as far as nightlife. The nightlife overseas, you know what it's like. They close whenever they're empty.
All the restrictions, and especially Gold Coast, like there's a lot of restrictions here, right? Same as New South Wales, they're kind of par on par in my opinion, but I can completely imagine that it would actually have a detrimental effect on the tourism here.
Like I'd have a fucking massive fight with my ex-missus about going to work on a Saturday night. They're going, why are you going for? And I'd turn around and go, because I want to. I just want to go there. I've got to make sure that everything's okay. And when it came to closing at 3 o'clock, I think to myself, fuck, I've got to go back home to her now. So fuck me. Like I'm thinking, I want to stay open. I couldn't stay open. There's nowhere else to go.
I'd say that I spent some...
And I'm telling you, some real rainy nights on a Saturday night where there was only 5 people in the club at 2 o'clock. I could have closed easily like that, gone home. Nah.
Sat in there and had a drink.
We're going to stay till 3:05. And let me tell you, sometimes even longer than that, right? I'd have my managers like fucking pulling their hair out wanting to go home. And I'd be telling the likes of fucking Flash and all those guys, you stop when I tell you to stop. And he'd play until whatever. There'd be no one else left in the club.
Literally your own little playground.
Why not?
Yeah, 100%. You bought it. Why not?
Yeah, that's right. I've got to pay all the fucking bills. I might as well enjoy it as much as I can.
Exactly. So those local legends that kind of were bred out of Platinum that blew up, and Gold Coast was really on the map for a long time. You know, guys like Brooke Evers, Timmy Chapper, I know he's not from here, but he kind of was. He was in that same clique. Stafford Brothers,
He was here every
etc.
week. He was almost here every weekend.
Basically lived, There was even bombs away too from Gold Coast at the time. So there was this dominant era that Platinum sort of heroed those artists, and they played within that venue a lot. Why do you think that Gold Coast owned the map when it came to that commercial kind of, I don't even know what you'd call it. It was like a electro house in a way, but it really took over and, you know, all eyes on Gold Coast at one point. Do you think it was because you were bringing all these other brands in and you were sort of getting these massive artists that the locals got to kind of have a leg up with that and then they blew up? Or how do you think that happened?
My biggest claim to fame, I believe, is never let the punter get bored. If you let the punter get bored, right, they won't come back. If you let them get bored of the same resident DJ every weekend, no. So there was guys like Mark and Ming and all those other, Frank and Rafi and who else was there? There was Simon.
That's literally like their fucking who's who.
They were bringing out some fucking massive tours.
An artist, yeah.
Massive artists. And I was one of these guys that could not say no. I just couldn't say no. Sebastian Ingrosso, Joey, do you want him? 40 grand. Fuck it, yes. Axwell, 40 grand, no worries. You know what I mean? Like I can be him forever and a day mentioning every artist that was at Platinum, but I just couldn't say no. There were some nights I thought to myself, you know, I'd be happy just to break even, but it's just good for the venue that you had these guys. But there was never a break even time. We'd make so much money.
No shit.
It was just fucking huge. That was an era. There was cash then.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Because there's like a thing that people don't talk about, but it's like, it's not often that venues, it's not irregular that venues will go and pay for an artist that costs way more than they'll make in the take because they want to build the brand of their venue. So to hear that's very, very interesting. But in saying that, probably the same as me, I don't think we've ever put someone on. There's been times where we thought we we're going to break even, but we fucking end up winning. And then on top of that, you end up winning week and week after that. So if you add that up, it's like, you know, it definitely does happen.
Yeah. So that was my business plan, is just to keep giving them anything they wanted. So, you know, we'd do a live show like with the presets, and that was completely something different. Like we'd have to build up a stage and everything like that. And then again, it was like people, oh my God, they've gone and they're doing that kind of stuff now. You put on the cut copies of the world, you're like, again, completely something different all over again. And people would go, this is unreal. So we were just going also, so it wasn't enough for me to get the straight crowd, the gay crowd. I went, fuck it, I'm going after the emus now. Emus?
Emos.
Emos? Fuck it, whatever they're fucking called.
That's
emus?
the best. And the indies.
Emos? The indie stuff? I thought, let me put on some of this indie group. To me, I'm not going to lie, I might get my haters saying this. I thought it was garbage. But you know what? I had to do it because that's what they wanted to hear, right? So no other club had the big capacity to put the stage on for stuff like that. So we did. We had the room. I put it up there. Mate, some of these nights huge. They were huge, some of these nights.
That's wild.
They were fucking huge.
Joey, there's one thing that I've got to talk about. You again might sip your water, but hopefully you don't. But obviously when people think about Broad Beach, especially in that era of Platinum, I remember going down there, and if you didn't have a tattoo on your face sitting in a cafe with a patch on your back, you didn't really look like a part of the furniture down in that space, right? So you were dealing with Broad Beach at its sort of height when it started to get all the attention from the media and the police. How were you navigating that during that period of time?
I get this question asked a lot. We're talking about the bikies, right?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so we're talking about the bikies, right? One thing with the bikies, right? If you act like you're above them and then you're better than, just because you've got a few security guards behind you, you will never win that battle, right? It's all in the delivery. You've got to be nice to everybody, especially guys like that, right? When you're nice to people like that, they will leave you alone. You know, the cops would come up to the door and go, "Why'd you let that guy in for? He's got tattoos." And I'd lift up my shirt and I go, "I got tattoos and I own the place." Just because he's got tattoos. I mean, mate, everyone's got tattoos these days. We did have our rules. We didn't want them on foreheads and up necks and on faces and everything like that. But those guys there that had them like that, they would never venture out anyway. You know, they knew they were going to get stereotyped. And again, I was like one of these people, as you can tell, that every person's money is green. Don't care. Gay, lesbian, straight, emo, emu, fucking
Bikey.
fucking bikey. I don't care. If you've got money, right, and you want to come and spend it in the club, right, I don't come here every week and pull my hair out trying to run a nightclub to do it out of fun, right? Because take me out of the clubs, I don't have anything else. I didn't have anything else back then except for the touring business that we had and all that stuff. So the money of the venue was very, very important, you know? So I did not discriminate against those guys, and because of that, I never had any problems.
In Gold Coast, there's always been a rule about tattoos. You can't have tattoos in nightclubs. Where did that rule start? And is it a venue thing or is it a government thing?
Mate, the government started pushing their agenda about the bikies having certain insignias on their arms, especially when they'd walk in. You know, the whole, I don't know, whatever it was, the swords or guns or 1% shit that they'd have on themselves, right? They didn't want that in the nightclubs, and they pretty much made it a stringent rule to us. They said, you know, if you're going to start having people show off their 1% tattoos, something like that, we're going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. Mate, I knew a lot of those guys would come in, and you know what, a lot of them would make the effort, I remember one guy one night, he just fucking caked on all his misses, right, foundation, right, all over him. You could just see it. You could actually just barely just, you could just see it coming through the foundation where he had 1% on his arm. You know, some of them would go and buy some stockings. We'd actually sell stockings at the door.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember?
Yeah, I
We'd
do.
sell stockings, those cream fucking girl stockings, right?
Yeah, and if you had a leg sleeve, you had to put it up.
They would put them all the way up their arms, and the guys would actually wear stockings, right? They'd go in the toilet, pull their pants down, put stockings on, right, or leggings, whatever they were, and that was it. Police couldn't do anything.
And it's still a thing in Gold Coast. Why do you think it's still a thing in Gold Coast, even though every other place in the country doesn't care about it as much anymore? But Gold Coast has stood firm on it. Why do you think that is?
I don't understand why, because obviously I've been out of the club scene now. It's been almost a year and a half now since I sold my last venue, and I didn't care then. But you know, I don't understand why, and God forbid that I do come back out of retirement. I don't fucking care. Like I said, if they want to come in with tattoos, they can come in with tattoos as much as they want.
I've always just found it so odd because it's like in Melbourne again, it's not really been a thing for fucking 15 years.
I reckon it's fucking rat shit, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like some of our biggest superstars in the world have got tats now, you know? To me, it's just I don't know, it's old mentality. But sometimes I am a little bit of old mentality as well, but I jump on the bandwagon that fucking quick when it's my turn to jump onto the bandwagon, or to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Relevant is the word. I become really relevant really quickly. I don't care.
Do you think it's inherited from the bikie crackdown from the police that it began and then it's just stayed because of that?
I think so. I think some of the old club owners, there's a lot of still older club owners, right, that are still around that are probably still adapted to that mentality. The cops don't care. I mean, you walk down Orchard Avenue on a Friday, Saturday night, you'll see so many coppers with tattoos, sleeves. I mean, what are we going to do? When they do their walkthrough, oh, sorry, you can't come in, you got tattoos.
That'd be fucking hilarious,
Yeah, that'd be fucking real hilarious. Hey? You know, yeah, hey, here's a stocking, you have to put that on there. Hey? Hey, if it's good for them, it's good for them. You know what I mean? I don't want you to walk in there with a tattoo and then for some bloke to come up and goes, well, why is he allowed in here? Just because he's got a badge and a fucking blue uniform.
And it's true because some of the coppers on Orchard Avenue are fucking huge too.
Mate, some of them are huge.
They're scary looking coppers.
Yeah, mate, and some really good fucking female looking coppers too. Hey? Oh my God, where'd they all come from? They're not just big butch lesbians anymore. They're just fucking real hot looking fucking tens.
Yeah, they've done it in Take somewhere, I think. It's been a part of their programming for trying to get more people interested in their police force.
Why not? Hey? I mean, that's what the movies did. The Police Academy, didn't they?
Yeah,
didn't
true.
They put what's the name? What was her name with the big rack there?
I don't remember. So when you were running Platinum down at Broadbeach, I'm sure you would have run into some fucking hairy situations. Is there one that comes to mind as like a hectic, brawl or an event that happened that you had to deal with as a club owner there?
There was an incident in Melbourne. I'm going to be careful how I speak about this. There was an incident in Melbourne. Some people got shot, and they fled up here to come and hide up here. I believe some of those people are deceased now. They fled Melbourne to come and hide from whatever they did down there. And intel got out that they came into our nightclub, and we got swarmed with about 30 cops inside the nightclub. And these guys then went out the back door and ended up in the garbage compactor, right? All it would have taken was for somebody just to hit that red button on their garbage compactor, and it'd have been game over.
Fuck.
But they eventually got arrested and extradited back to Melbourne.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Man, imagine that. Imagine
yeah.
they got crushed in the back. That would have been hectic.
Yeah, I know. So that was one. There was one hairy moment, and there was a bit of a thing getting around at the moment that back in those days there was people were letting off smoke bombs and tear gas and everything like that. There's a couple of times a club got wiped out with stuff like that.
So after the bikie crackdown, obviously they left town. So again, Broadbeach no longer looked like that. And then over time, around that same sort of time, Broadbeach sort of started to slow down. When do you see that, would you say it would be fair for me to say that there was like a death of Broadbeach?
We had a lot of paranoid people back in those days in that circle of Broadbeach that did not want to come to the area anymore. But then we had young, stupid 18-year-olds with balls that come in a dump truck that were going to Surfers Paradise that did not care about anything, right? So then I thought to myself, I need to get this venue back on track. And that's when I sold my soul to the devil and I thought, fuck it, we need to do this Melbourne bounce rubbish in this club, right?
Those boys will love you too, though, eventually.
Oh, yeah, well, mate, they still love me.
Yeah, I know.
We need to do this Melbourne bounce. They're not doing it up in Surfers, right? But one or two things could happen here. I can either lose my fucking house, right? Because I'm going to lose all the regulars and they won't come back. Or I'm going to put on this Melbourne bounce and hope for the best.
And that's the thing, like I want to kind of touch on this, right? So you're from a nightclub, you talked about the presets, the emus or the emos, and then you talked about the original house days, John Core, sneaky sound system. You're talking how genres change. Every 4 years there's like this chain reaction. If you sit on your laurels as a club owner or anyone who works in the music industry and say, this shit's rubbish, even though you may think it's rubbish over time, learn to love it, your club's going to close. Like it's a matter of time. You can't,
that's right.
Because things change and you have to adapt, right?
You got to be like a chameleon. You got to adapt to their surroundings, 100%. So I thought, let me give this a whirl. In coming a very, very young Will Sparks. He just released, I think it was Oh Yeah.
Yeah, it was a song, yeah.
He just released that. That was the biggest night in my whole entire career.
Wow.
And I've had some of the biggest names on this planet. That was the biggest night I've ever done. That night was so big that I went across the road, right, after my head of security had said to me, mate, we've already got 1,200 in here. Capacity was 9. We've already got 1,200 in here and we've got another 1,000 waiting outside. What are we going to do here? I went across the road, got on my hands and knees, and I went and I asked for fucking divine intervention. I went, if you get me out of this, I promise I will never do something so fucking dumb like this ever again as long as I live. Ever again, right? It was that fucking massive. The walls were raining. That's how much sweat there was on all the paintwork and everything like that. It was fucking huge. It was the first time I'd ever put on a Melbourne bounce act like that. He was the most popular at the time. Him and Joel, he was a fucking another one. He was another little legend. He would come in there and so were the orchestrated boys. Fucking Jesus Christ. And they're legends. He's like crippled all of those guys because
there was always a rumor coming back. It's
back in my alcoholic days like that. Fucking Jesus, I wouldn't let anybody survive that place.
That was everyone, like when they were booked for platinum, everyone was like, be prepared. Joey's going to put you through the ringer. And if you don't perform, you probably won't get booked again.
Well, the thing is, if like fucking Hardwell, when he refused, I asked Hardwell, I went to get Hardwell a shot. He refused it. I fucking said either drink it or wear it. And then I threw it on the cunt. I didn't fucking care. Right? They disrespect me in my house, right? Fucking number one DJ in the world. I didn't care then. But, and even a guy like that did not pull the numbers that some of these Melbourne bounce acts were pulling when it was at its height, at its peak. I mean, I don't know what they listen to now. I went into a club probably about 6 weeks ago and I hadn't been in a club for about a year and a half because after I'd sold mine, I ended up just in there with some mates and I thought to myself, you fucking poor people. You have missed out the best times of your life. Those days will never, ever come back.
Yeah.
Right?
They were wild. Like that's a thing.
They will never come back. Everybody's into fitness now. No one drinks 10, 15, 30, 50 fucking shots of Fireball like we used to back in the day and then wake up on a Tuesday thinking, fucking, what did I just do to myself? I never want to go to his club ever again. You know what I mean? He's a fucking animal. So that night with Will, his first night, the one he played at Platinum, that was that was a game changer for us. Unfortunately, some of the older guys, John, Grant, Ivan, I fucking love them. I personally am a massive, huge fan of all those guys and the music that they play, but I could not have it at that club anymore.
Because it wasn't working anymore.
No, Goodwill, all those guys, everyone that I would book on a regular basis, it's just that this sound became so big, right, that it wasn't called Melbourne Bounce anymore. It was just fucking called Bounce because, like, the thing is, Melbourne Bounce was getting played in Perth, fucking Adelaide, fucking Sydney, Gold Coast, Brisbane.
And this was just before it all blew up overseas because you were one of the guys who kind of grabbed onto it early days. Like, it wasn't really even getting played in Sydney yet. It was like Brisbane, Gold Coast, Perth, Adelaide, and it hadn't blown up overseas. So you were kind of like, I guess, one of the early adapters of that sound.
Yeah, again, so in order for the venue to make money and for us to adapt it to our surroundings and to whatever everybody's into at the moment, we had no chance but to sell our soul to the devil and just went, you know what? And I don't know, you'll probably cut this out, but as much as I used to call it ear rape, right? It actually was in a sense, because if you've got a 2-hour set of that, it really can be fucking painful, right? But if you've got an hour, a good hour, maybe an hour and a half, and they're playing some really, really, really good remixes of with Melbourne Bounce remixes, it actually becomes quite enjoyable.
100%
It's actually fun.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But only for those that knew how to play it. You had your Timmys of the world. He was good at it. Will, obviously, I think he invented it. Joel, the orchestrated boys, all those guys, I used to book them on a regular occasion, and they would come in there, and then I created a couple of little minor DJs at like Brooklyn. She was playing it, you know what I mean, like just to change it up for the venue because we needed somebody to still play that stuff when all these guys weren't around. These guys that I picked up for $200, $300, $400, $500. These guys were no longer $500 anymore. These guys were fucking 20, 30 grand. So we're paying 20, 30 grand for these guys in the clubs, right? It's not a sound that people drink to.
That's what my next question was going to be.
It's not a sound that people were drinking to.
Yeah, you talk Goodwill, you talk Sneaky Sound System, you talk all these other groups. They're drinking crowds.
Yeah.
The Melbourne Sound stuff, I had a lot to do with it. I was one of the guys who pioneered as a promoter.
Yeah.
I firsthand know it wasn't a drinking crowd. It was like a drug crowd that drank second.
I didn't want to say drug crowd.
But I was going to say to you, did you have that same issue?
100%. So the takings in the bar would dwindle. That would go lower and lower and lower. So what we had to do was put our price up on the door, right, which were pissing people off. People didn't want to pay $25, $30 to get into a club, right? Because what are we listening to? We're listening to a bit of Melbourne Bounce. So spend some money in the bar. They wouldn't do it. The fucking BPM was that fast and hard, you'd know. Right?
Yeah, I know.
That these kids would have to go in the toilets, boom, bing, bing, bang, boom, bum. That was it. You know what I mean? And the bar sales went lower and lower. And
the fees got higher and higher.
The bills got higher, mate. The bills didn't come down. Our insurances started skyrocketing. I still believe to this very day that clubbing universally, it's been ruined by the insurance premiums. Insurance is out of control at the moment. What used to be 45, 50 grand a year, you're lucky to get changed at 190, 200 now. You can't make that kind of money just to pay that one fee back, every year. Then we went through the Alco Pops tax where that fuckwit Rudd decided to tax all the RTDs, putting on this Alco Pops tax here on the Gold Coast and in Brisbane. I don't know if it was a Queensland thing or I think it was nationwide. And you've got a couple of brands yourself. You know what it's like. You pay a lot of fucking taxes to the government, with that, just because you're selling that brand. I mean, without the RTDs, because we were going after that 18 to 19-year-old, crowd. Once we had to put up the vodka cruisers and the Bacardi breezes and all that kind of shit that we had back in those days from, $7 to $14, these kids stopped drinking it. They stopped coming out. So what they did was became our biggest fucking nightmare was the pre-drinking. They'd come into the club smashed. You'd have the Office of Liquor and Gaming on the front door or the cops, and they go, why are you letting that person in? She's smashed or he's smashed. I go, how do you know she's smashed? I mean, I know all the signs, don't get me wrong, right? But we were so regulated with that kind of stuff that it was almost getting impossible to run a venue or run a business.
And so is that why you eventually shut down Platinum?
No, Platinum shut down because the building is down now. The building's a big hole in the ground. I think I saw one of your old podcasts before where you went there, and I think this is where Platinum was. That's just a big hole in the ground. There's a 6-star hotel going there now.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I was like literally going, I don't remember it. Like don't remember it being a fucking giant hole in the ground, but I was right.
Well, if you want to talk about watch this space, the actual owner of the building and the landlord, the developer goes, I'd like to see you in there in 3 years' time.
Crazy.
To do something again? I don't think so. It'd be hard to get Broadbeach back to the way it was.
It's not the same place as it used to be.
It's
no
not.
Doubt. Yeah.
No.
So on that sort of talking about Gold Coast as talking about Gold Coast as like a full overview, Gold Coast was pumping from Surfers all the way down to Broadbeach. It was a destination place. People were coming in from all over artists were coming in from all over Australia to play, and then people were following them to watch them play. What's the state of Gold Coast now? What does it look like?
Oh, I think it's sad now. Like I said, I went out about 6 weeks ago. There's really nothing like a clubber's club. There's nothing like it. I believe there are a few clubs that are in the works at the moment that are getting renovated and redone. As much as I love listening to a little bit of commercial music, like I'm a massive Pitbull fan. Like he added me on Twitter the other day. I thought, fucking, this is great. Because I remember actually working with him overseas with Afrojack. So Afrojack, we became very good friends, and he turned around. Nick goes, "Oh, I'm doing this film clip with Pitbull, Naya. Do you want to come?" And it was actually, he goes, and you will actually love this. We're filming it at a club called The Mansion, right? So that's where Give Me Everything was filmed. So I actually met him then. We became friends, and he added me on because I messaged him and I said to him, I'm in Brisbane. I want to come and see you live. Sorted me out and everything. And as much as I love all his music still getting replayed and played and played to the fucking shithouse in the clubs, right? I kind of like it, but it's still not the same. I just don't feel as if it's the same. Do you know what I mean? And I think these massive DJs and these big promoters that started billing some of these guys for such high rates is what really fucked it for everybody.
True, and like Gold Coast really hasn't recovered since then. Like now it's probably a good thing because they're not relying on these massive artists, but at the same time, this scene that was created in Gold Coast because of these massive artists and guys like you putting these shows on is now, it's dissipated. Like they don't pull anymore. Like there's no room for it. And you're seeing the death of Australian artists really because of that.
Yeah, well, the big ones that pull are the ones that are doing the big free beach concerts. The Fish, fuck. He put on that show on the beach just
Coolly, I think.
Yeah. Just ginormous. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff, that's still working on the Gold Coast. People love that kind of stuff. We've got some really nice big festivals. Trav's a fucking legend from Melbourne coming up here, you know.
Do an ultra.
That was, he filled that Parklands. Unbelievable. Unbelievable the job he does when he comes here. So that kind of stuff is what we still need here. If we can still maintain that kind of stuff here, I think we're going to be okay when, if there is a chance that clubbing may come back. I mean, but the government needs to have an open mind as well about the policing. I mean, let the kids go and have fun.
100%.
And I'm really fucked off with the government, right? I've got a little bit of oppression towards the government at the moment because they would come in there and hassle people, 18-year-olds, right, for being on drugs or being too drunk or whatever, but they're fucking letting them ride e-scooters at the age of 16 and they're all fucking dying. You know what I mean? So I don't get it. Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, you go get, you get killed in a fucking, you've got more chance of getting killed now, right, on an e-scooter than what you do in a nightclub just because you've, drank too much.
True, especially when you got cameras, CCTV, security guards,
Mate,
RSA officers.
Back in those days, we never had that sort of technology. Like I remember having to put the fucking videotape in there just to tape the night CCTV. Now it's all on your phone.
3D color, the whole lot.
3D color, everything like Zoom. You know what I mean? Facial recognition. You've got all sorts of things. When you ban someone now, you're banned on the
Scantech, yep.
Yep. So you're banned from one venue, you go to another venue. Sorry, mate, you're not coming in. Why not? Because you're banned from your statewide ban. Sorry.
I wonder if all that sort of stuff coming in took a little bit of the wildness away from Gold Coast because I feel like that was the allure, right? Like in Gold Coast, it was the wild, wild west. You know, you could come here and dreams could be made and you could be forgotten, your past could be forgotten and you could recreate yourself.
We almost turned into a Vegas. where in Vegas, as you know, anything goes, right? We almost turned in. But the fuddy-duddies went, no, we're not going to have it here. We're not going to allow it to happen here. We're going to meet with the police and the council. We're going to say, no, we don't want this anymore. We don't want that anymore. We don't want any more shots after midnight. Mate, do you have any idea how fucking hard that was? No shots after midnight. You've got to have at least minimum 3 ice cubes in the drink, right? Yeah, 3 ice cubes in the drink, it doesn't become a shot anymore. And it has to be poured in a tumbler, not a shot glass. So no more shots after midnight. They have to be poured, you know, anything neat has to be poured with minimum 3 pieces of ice cube. No doubles. Fuck. That was just impossible. So no doubles. Instead of me going, drinking 2 bottles of fucking vodka on a Saturday night, I'd go down and drinking 4 because I had to drink it single.
So going back to platinum, right? Obviously, it was a big part of your life. Do you have like a favorite platinum story that you can tell me?
Favorite platinum story? Michael Woods, the DJ. You know Woodsy?
Yep.
Right? There's going to be some people listening to there that witnessed this that night. He was so smashed with me. We actually got rotten between me and him. We became so close, me and that guy. A lot of people, he didn't pull massive crowds, but he played just the most fucking best music he'd ever, and we became very good friends. So in the DJ box, I'm there. I'm spraying the crowd with the CO2 gun, right? He drops his pants out. He flashes his cock to me, right? I point that thing right at him and go, psh. I literally burnt it off.
What do you mean?
Mate, it burnt it.
He's old fella.
Everything. Hair and everything, just fucking burnt it right off. The whole thing was fucked. Flash had to take him to the hospital the next day, right? And put all sorts of fucking cream all over him and cream down there, cream on his balls, all sorts of shit, right? He was fucked. He spent 24 hours on an aeroplane in that condition, right?
With a bird dick.
Yes. Thighs, everything. 48 hours later, he rings me. He goes to me, I'm never coming back to your club ever again. I don't know if I'm going to be having kids again.
Oh, really?
Oh, mate, I burnt it off pretty much. I just fucking burnt it with a CO2 gun. That was a funny story. That was like hilarious. But I got dozens of stories like that. But I can't. I won't share them with the country.
Yeah, I can imagine. There's a treasure trove of stories that are PG.
No. Oh, well, there was another favourite story. We had this old kitchen, right, which turned into our side room, our house room, our back room, and what we ended up doing was I was calling people randomly from inside the club and going, come in here. I would give them sledgehammers, right? I go, start smashing these fucking walls and these tiles off the wall, will you? And it's in the middle of the club and we're actually renovating the club off our faces, just breaking anything we possibly could. So when the builder would come the next day, he goes, oh yeah, you're good, you saved me on labour.
That's productive.
Yeah.
So we're actually coming up to over an hour now. So this is kind of my last question.
Yeah.
Joey, you're still a figurehead in the Gold Coast nightlife industry, even though you're currently not working in it. What did you do after platinum? And then second to that, what's the future look like for you in that space?
I need a break at the moment because I did it for 35 years straight. I went through 2 divorces, right? And the mental health, the divorce, the mental health wasn't the best. So I decided to take a little bit of time off, right? And see if I can fix the mental health a little bit. And it was 35 years straight. I didn't take I took holidays. I went overseas with the boys and everything like that. But I needed a break from it. I needed a break because I believe, right, that you can take the wog out of the club, but you can't take the club out of the wog, right? So I putting it out there to Danny Rand's land, that I'll be back.
You're looking to come back again?
I'm going to come back.
I think there'll be a lot of happy people to see you back.
I'm going to come back.
Ranting on your own social media.
Yeah, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. I'm just having a little bit of a break at the moment. And if we can get these laws adjusted or eased, I'm going to come back even harder because I've got some plans. I've got some crazy ideas in this noggin.
So what do you think about the future of Gold Coast and the nightlife industry in the future?
Oh, mate, you know what? Because we're becoming so popular and a lot of people are moving up here from down Sydney, Melbourne, we have a chance to reignite it and make it extremely popular like it was before. But we also need help from the government, you know what I mean? And if we can just maybe get some of these insurance premiums down, I think we're going to be okay. I think the Gold Coast is going to be okay.
Fingers crossed. I don't know how the hell that's going to work unless the government does get involved. But
Yeah, well, the government needs to get involved with a lot of people because the thing is that the nightlife economy, it's a $3 billion a year industry. I mean, I'm not just talking about nightclubs. I'm talking about, bars, restaurants.
kebab shop next door. Another one for me is like, which kind of pains me with the government, is that they don't put money in or try to help nightlife or nightclubs. We're sort of seen as like the dirty word that's a secret they don't want to talk about. But the reality of it is, like you talked on this podcast already, you talk about presets, Sneaky Sound System, Stafford Brothers, Brooke Evers, Timmy Trumpet, Will Sparks. They all were born in clubs. Don Dollar was another one born in clubs.
Yeah.
If they don't help us fund this to get it back to where it needs to be, these artists don't exist because they have to cut their teeth and do their training in these fucking nightclubs. You don't start at a festival, right?
No.
So it's important. And like a lot of these names came through Melbourne, Sydney, Gold Coast, all these other places with promoters like yourself or club owners like yourself. If these people, these passionate humans aren't funding these guys to build and learn, we're fucked. At the moment, we are a dance music fucking country. All our most famous artists are dance artists. And we're not going to have a next generation if they don't start to help, the government doesn't start to land on
And look
us.
what they've done. All they've done is push them overseas.
Yes.
That's all they've done. I mean, all the guys I was involved with, as you know, they all went overseas.
Yep.
Became names of themselves. I guarantee some of these DJs will not be anybody unless they played on stages like Tomorrowland and stuff like that. I mean, like, and our festivals too. Like, why aren't our festivals like, as much as we've got great festivals, like I said, Ultra and all those festivals, like Spilt Milk's coming back here on the Gold Coast, I think, this year. So they're great festivals, but they're not.
We're not pushing the envelope.
We're not pushing the envelope.
Yeah, and we should be because we used to. We used to be one of the
Fucking Hoth we did. Stereo Future, they were massive festivals. They were some of the biggest festivals. That was in the height of our TV show as well.
Yeah, juggernauts.
And like those festivals were fantastic. I mean, Avicii was at Future. It was like, remember?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, you wouldn't believe that he got paid $2 million for that.
Yeah. Well, he did even early days. He did Stereosonic, like that was fucking.
He played a platinum for $1,200.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't even know who he was.
Crazy.
I remember Pete Sofo saying to me, mate, you need to put on this fucking guy, Avicii. He's fucking massive. I go, who?
Yeah.
3 months later, he releases Levels. That fucking $1,200 went to fucking.
Fucking wild.
Yeah.
But that was the thing with Melbourne. Like, it was a special place and there was massive artists coming through who were blowing up every single week. Afrojack, Avicii, our own base art, like our own artists based in Australia too. It was a special place, and if we don't get it back there, we're fucked.
No, we need to get it back there. I think we need to organise maybe some sort of organisation or some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like a cultural union or something like that would be a good one.
Like a body.
Yep.
And we grab a dozen of us that have got the passion and and want it to come back. I reckon with a few minds and a few good minds, I don't think it's too hard.
Yeah, I rate it. Joey, thank you so much for giving me an hour of your time.
No worries.
I really appreciate it. You are one of the craziest club owners I've ever met, and I fucking appreciate everything you've done for the scene here, from also to all the artists that you help blow up from locally here, but also from across Australia. Without people like you supporting these different genres and these different characters and these different people and creating spaces for them to be able to operate and hone their crafts, a lot of careers wouldn't have existed. So thank you so much for being involved in the nightlife industry and everything you've done for it.
Thank you, and watch this space.
I can't wait to see what you do
back
next.
like
Fuck
the
yeah.
clap.
I like the clap. The best.
See ya.
Legend, man.